Welcome back to Monday All Weekend, everybody. We got a lot of things we want to get into. This was an exciting week for a lot of news. First, we're going to start out with some Game of Thrones news. Maybe they're going to be making a movie, maybe not. We'll see. Then we're going to get into the first reviews for Gladiator 2. The critics' reviews are out, and we're going to get into some of those. And then we're going to kind of end it with season 1 review of Penguin. And I know everybody's been talking about Penguin. That's kind of been the hot thing on Max these past couple weeks. So
Oh yeah. So excited you guys are hanging out with us. We got a lot of movie news to talk about. We're streaming on Rumble tonight as well as YouTube.
Yeah, this is the first time we're hitting up Rumble, and it looks like we've got 5 people watching on Rumble. So hello from Rumble, I guess.
All right.
Rumble.
Pretty excited. A lot of stuff has been happening the past few weeks, man. So much stuff. And in this tumultuous time, so much in the news. Tumultuous, man. Tumultuous. I think it's good to just take a break and talk about some of the movie stuff. I mean, we don't always, with the political season, we don't always avoid it completely, but at least with this, we can talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff that's hopefully exciting. And man, I'm really excited about talking about the Penguin. Man, what a gem of a show in my mind.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I heard I heard somebody talking about it was all and I've started The Sopranos because of this, but I've not seen a lot of The Sopranos. But I heard someone kind of describe it as all of the good parts of the Sopranos show and none of the bad parts.
None of the bad parts. I mean, it's a little bit faster than The Sopranos for sure. The story moves along quicker. There's more intrigue, I feel like, with this show, or at least there's more intrigue faster. There's a lot of stuff you got to sit through with The Sopranos, man. The seasons are back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Those seasons were so long, they would have like 20 episodes a season. And all the episodes were 45 minutes apiece. And so with this show, you get 8 episodes. It moves along a lot quicker. And overall, I feel like it was very satisfactory. And inside of the Batman universe, Mike.
Let's put a pause on this really quick though, because I know a lot of people want to talk about that, and we want to talk about that. But first, we got 2 things we want to get into before that, and then stick around to the end, and then we will definitely get into that with you guys.
All right. So, Game of Thrones is possibly making a movie. Well, it seems like it's relatively a for sure thing at this point, right?
Yeah.
At least it's as for sure of a thing as it can be at this moment, because we've had so many circumstances where either Martin teases something or tells us something's going to happen and it doesn't, right? There's been so many different cases of that happening. But right now, it seems like as of now, there is a movie that is in development, even though it is at the very beginning of development. There's a bunch of articles about this, but Warner Brothers is making a Game of Thrones movie. About what exactly? While HBO Max has canceled a number of Game of Thrones spinoffs, is currently airing one, and has others to release or in development. Now it appears the series is heading to theaters. So we know that they got another season or 2 potentially, I'm not sure, of House of the Dragon. And we're also going to get Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, Dunk and Egg, or the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. What is the official title? I know it's based on the book Dunk and Egg. Yeah.
I'm misplacing the name. I can't remember what the name is either.
But we know that's happening. We saw.
Put in the comments if you guys know what the title for that show is going to be.
Yeah. In an unexpected turn, the Hollywood Reporter is reporting that at least one film is set in the Song and of Ice and Fire universe is
Mhm.
being quietly developed. The problem is the film has no director, no writer, and no cast. So more or less, someone going. We shall make a Game of Thrones movie, I guess. So basically,
Yeah.
they're saying we're gonna try to make a movie out of this, and I have some theories as to why they're pursuing this exactly.
Oh, yeah. I don't know specifically why they're choosing a movie per se, but I know clearly, and well, not clearly. I'm still speculating here.
Mm.
We talked about this off screen where, in preparation for this, it's probably, in my opinion, because none of this is true yet. It's just an opinion based thing. Um, it's probably going to be a sequel to the show, and probably it's their attempt at fixing the last season. At
You
least
think
that's what I
so?
think. That's what I think.
Look, I think they could fix the last season in a limited series or something. That's what I think. But a movie to go to theaters, that's kind of a big statement. And here's the thing, as much as we want to say, you know, The Chosen is a big deal,
Mhm.
it still is kind of insulated. However, with the numbers that The Chosen, right, The Chosen
Mhm.
series is doing currently,
Yeah.
and they're seeing that people watching it for free on the Chosen app is growing and growing and growing. There is and of course the theatrical release of the shows, right?
Mhm.
That is getting people to pay attention. They're like, maybe these series can go to theaters. That's what I think. I don't think people are ignorant to what's going on with The Chosen. And I think they want a little bit of that action. But with Warner Brothers and HBO being such a legacy company, I think
Yeah.
they're worried or they don't have the correct kind of distribution to go ahead and put out episodes of a series like The Chosen is doing through the
On
Fathom
in theaters.
events, right?
So
In theaters.
what you're saying is they're gonna make a feature length movie.
They're making a feature length movie, but it's probably going to look and feel just like the show, right? I don't think it's going to change.
Sure.
Like it's not going to
Do
become
you
anamorphic or something. I think it's going to be feel like the show, but it's going to be in theaters, maybe.
do you think um what we love about the show, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you shouldn't correct me because I'm always right. But uh
Incorrect.
the thing we love about the show is not we don't know what's going to happen next, because like we kind of know the story of, House of the Dragon right now. We know kind of the turnout. If you read the book, you kind of know, oh, this is going to happen.
Right.
But the thing you love about the show is the drama and the intrigue and the back and forth between all the characters, to where that is what you tune in for. You want to see Damon do his thing. You want to see Rhaenyra do her thing. And so making a movie where movies in general aren't like shows where you tune in for the drama, if that makes sense, that it won't quite fit as good, because for movies you're there for the plot. You're
Yeah.
there for the drama too, but it's not, shows are drama.
You're
So,
supposed to sit with the show for a long time.
yes. And so do you think we know too much about this world, um the throne, that nothing won't be surprising to us?
No, no. I think, well, if they're doing it in the time frame of A Song in Ice and Fire, they already had the show to explain the events of the books, although the books haven't been written yet.
Mhm.
If they do a movie, it's going to be faster paced. I think all of that knowledge, that background that we have from the show is going to work in the audience's favor. It's going to work in the favor of the story, because you can tell a little bit more of a shallow, little faster paced film story. You can
Mhm.
do that without having to have a ton of setup. I mean, unless they have a whole bunch of new characters, you don't have to do a ton of setup, which actually, even though this report talks about how they don't have any casting, there's some recent news
Oh,
that
yeah,
might
yeah. Let's
show
let's get into this.
there actually might be tapping Macy Williams, or at least there's evidence. There's
Mhm.
evidence of something here. Okay, so um, Martin recently went to the UK, the author of the books,
Yes.
and he met with Macy Williams. She plays Arya Stark. If you guys haven't seen the show, she was in every single season as one of the major
yeah,
players
and she,
in the story, right?
spoiler alert, she kind of became the faceless woman at the end of the show, and it did not.
The faceless woman. That's not the big thing. She became the one who killed the Night King. That was the
No,
big
that
deal.
too. She
Um,
got a big role.
As much as people didn't like the end of it, that's what happened. Okay. So they caught up with Macy Williams, who played Arya Stark in Game of Thrones. So he says in his not a blog, website thing, he does these life update blogs. He wrote, "We also got together with Macy Williams for pizza and pasta and talked about ... Martin teased before adding, "Well, no. Better not get into it. Do not want to jinx it. But it could be so much fun."
I mean,
So this is like very subtle evidence. This is very speculation, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
out of everything we have to go off of, the time frame that they're talking about this movie possibly being in, as well as him starting to reach out to old actors from the show, it seems like where there's smoke, there's fire on some level, right?
well, I mean, there's definitely pizza and pasta.
Yeah.
Maybe is he trying to tell us something with secretly throwing in there's pizza and pasta there? I don't know.
I don't know, but listen, this really upsets me. If we ever
Yeah.
want to know what the true ending to this story is, Martin, Mr.
Stop eating your
George,
pizza and pasta.
stop eating pizza and pasta. Start choosing a salad. Eat two side salads. at the
Maybe
pizza
like
joint.
a couple of steaks or a steak.
Yeah,
instead.
eat a steak and do
And
a
that's it.
keto diet, man. Like
Yeah.
you're getting old.
He's
You're not
old.
healthy. You're not healthy at all.
No.
You know that when you look at someone and be like, "Oh, they're really not healthy," then you're in a bad position, right? Because it's like that's one of the first things you notice. Oh, this person's unhealthy.
I
Which,
mean,
whatever.
he's-
People are free to be unhealthy. I'm just saying, if we want to know the end of the story, the real end of the story, he's got to
Yeah.
stick around, and he's not writing these books very quickly.
And I mean, he's not even doing the Peter Jackson, treatment where, between books or between seasons of the show that he'll like fix himself and get healthy. He's just like,
And
he's
then on
consistently
production,
not.
he just falls apart again.
Yeah. He's consistently just kind of
You guys should Google. You
No.
guys should Google Peter Jackson at the beginning or at the start of filming The Hobbit. You should Google that, and then look at like interviews at the end of The Hobbit. He went right back. Like he was
Yeah.
thin. Peter Jackson didn't look like himself. He was he was thin, and then by the end of The Hobbit, he was just all big again.
We haven't seen
There's a lot
Peter
of
Jackson
stress.
in the limelight recently, so I'm curious where he's at.
He's been doing documentaries and stuff. I've seen a recent interview with him that was this year. He's kept
Is
the
he-
weight. He's kept
He's
the
kept
weight.
the weight. He's kept the
Yeah.
healthy weight.
But he looks older. He's got a lot more gray. A lot more gray.
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean, I imagine going into 3 movies of Lord of the Rings, which he's done 6. So
Mhm.
3 movies of Lord of the Rings is like the equivalent of 1 term of presidency, and he's done 2 of them so far. So he's
got 2 terms of Lord of the Rings.
of presidency.
Well, he's about to become one of the producers or executive producer for The Hunt for Gollum. So it's like he's
Oh,
entering
yeah.
a 3rd term.
Oh, he's
right?
doing a 3rd. Man,
But he's not the director. He's not the writer. At least
Okay.
right now, that's
Yeah.
Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis,
Yeah.
who played Gollum, is
Andy
going to be
can
that.
do it. I do respect Andy Serkis, so I think
Sort
he
of.
can
I
do it.
respect him a lot, but I just don't like the movies he's made. Like he's done the Venom movies, right? I don't like them. I don't think they're good.
True. That's true. I want to put a little thing out. Put in the comments what you guys think. If you guys have anything to say about, Game of Thrones, the movie, or anything
In the
that
chat,
we're commenting
bruh.
on. Yeah,
In the
put it in the
chat.
chat. What did I say?
You say comments all the time. We don't want people
Well,
to
it's the
comment. We want
comment.
people to
Comments.
chat.
It's the live chat. It's the live comments on Rumble. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah.
so put them in the comments and let us know, because this is interactive. We want to hear from you guys.
I just correct you, and you go right back to put it in the comments.
Put it in the live comments.
All right, listen. So, The Gladiator 2, right? Ridley Scott's new film. The first reviews are in.
Okay.
They're here. And we're going to take a look at them. So these are just the critic reviews, and there's only 83 at this time. I did see an article earlier that's saying, like, people are liking it. It's not a
Yeah.
complete flop.
So
I wanted to take a look
not
at this.
Folie
right?
à deux.
It's not folie à deux, thank goodness. This actually looks like it's promising. And we'll look at some of these reviews, and then we'll compare it to the last film as far as critic reviews go. And we'll see, like, how did they think about the last film, right?
I'm just noticing the poster here. Do you remember when all of like the movie posters were just like in kind of a V format, the main actors' heads? It would be like their faces in kind of this V format.
Yeah.
That was what all posters were like back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was the
Mid
flying V.
2010,
The flying V.
2000s.
Now
Like
there's a ton
Pirates
of
of the Caribbean.
thumbnails. Yeah. It's the flying V poster look. So we're getting we're not getting like big praises here, you know what I mean? But we're getting a lot of middle of the roads with a handful of lower reviews.
Wait a
okay?
minute. So the green splat and the tomato is the critics, and the green
Tomato,
splat is
yeah.
also critics.
No, these are all critics. Their icon is the rating score, right?
Oh, okay.
So a splat is they rated it pretty low.
I was looking for the audience score, but we don't have that yet. It's only critics.
Right. So the tomato is kind of like a good score, right? It's a decent one. I think there's a better one. All right. So Gladiator 2 is not emotionally as gripping as 2000's Gladiator, but this action sequel delivers the expected epic battle scenes and competent acting. All right. Shallow characters and phony looking fight beasts are part of this predictable story. All right, so they're basically saying like the rhino, the monkeys that we saw in the trailer, all of these they're gonna look animated. All right.
Oh, I kind of expected that.
They also said the characters are kind of shallow, which is interesting because you look at Denzel's character in the trailer, he comes across as pretty deep. Maybe it's not deep, but at least it appears deep. And then you got the Emperor characters. Joseph Quinn, especially, I'm really interested in.
Speaking on this, I want to make a really quick comment on the first movie. I know I watched the movie a long time ago when I was kind of a teenager, and I love the movie because it's got action. It's a fun movie. But recently, so I watched it with my wife, the first Gladiator. And most of the time, action adventure movies kind of bore her, but she loved that movie for the drama combined with the action adventure-ness of the first one, of like that who's supposed to be Caesar, who's supposed to be sitting on the throne, I guess, if you want to call it a throne. I don't think you call it the throne.
The emperor's seat.
Yeah. She loved the drama aspect with the movie to the point where she was engaged the whole time. And so I think with the second one, they have to have a combination of both to get us grippingly engaged like the first one, which I'm not expecting that. I'm kind of just expecting action adventure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. CGI rhinos, apes, sharks, and warships take up space in Ridley Scott's digital re-rendered Colosseum. But he's at a loss with what to do with them. It's just a bunch of pixels at war with each other, with human stakes left to bleed out. Okay, so this person didn't care for it. I feel like people are looking for a lot of emotional depth coming from this Gladiator film.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt like there was some emotional depth from the first one, which I think there was. But to what level is their expectation and actual, how deep does this go? You know what I mean?
This is a
a lot of green icons here.
Yeah, this is a 2024 movie. We're not talking about 2024. We're not talking about 2003 movie anymore.
Right. Okay.
I don't know when the movie came out.
2000, I believe. People were understandably very wary of a sequel to Gladiator, but it justifies its existence. It's a
Yeah.
more complex story than the initial feels like it might just repeat the first film's plot, but then turns out to do something different. Okay, so this guy Eric Goldman, he's
Mhm.
promising us that its existence is justified. It's not a bad movie. It deserves to be here. Gladiator 2 deserves to have a place. So that's a little bit of a hopeful tone here. A film that aspires to be so much that it ends up being too little. So this is what I'm noticing. I'm not seeing a lot of people saying it's just bad or it sucks, but what I am seeing is that people had expectations based on the first movie. Some people feel like it was close, and some people feel like it fell short, and that was the criticism here.
Yes.
Not without flaws, it delivers plenty of intense, jaw-dropping moments with standout performances from Denzel to Paul Mescal. The film keeps you thoroughly entertained from start to finish, offering sharp dialogue and expertly crafted fight scenes. So it sounds like there might not be a lot of depth to these characters. The plot's not going to be any marvel in when it comes to,
Hmm.
storytelling. But it sounds like the performances are decent and the action sequences are great. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, a gladiator fight scene, that's exciting. And I won't don't downplay the, fighting sequences in Hollywood today. I feel like all action sequences are pretty good in Hollywood for the most part. I don't want to downplay that. So,
That got an it's currently at a critic score with only 83 reviews at 78. But if you look at
$79.
the first movie got a critic score of 79. So the
Oh, so it's
the
about the
audience
same.
liked
Yeah.
Gladiator more than the critic reviews did. All right. So there's
It's the
evidence here that the audience, the normies, might freaking love this second movie as much as they loved the first one, while the critics who are going to be looking at it with a critical way to write their little blurb,
yeah.
they're going to be looking at it more
What would
harshly.
you Ridley Scott, the last movie he did before this was
Napoleon.
Napoleon. Um I didn't watch Napoleon.
I
I never
did.
got around to it. What would you give Napoleon? 7 out of 10. I mean, not 7,
7
1 out
out
of
of 10.
10.
1 out of 10. No, not 1 just,
Out of
from
10.
1 to 10, I would give Napoleon a 6. The fight
Okay.
scenes were very short,
I'm just I
and
just want
there was
to.
just a lot of there's a lot of nonsense. It moved way too slowly. And what I'm getting the vibe here is that this second movie doesn't move as slow. I don't mind a slow moving story. I just want it to feel like I'm invested. And Napoleon didn't really quite hit it. I don't have an issue with the acting. I don't have an issue with the production value. I just am saying, like, if this is supposed to be a Napoleon War movie,
Yeah.
the battles are too fast. And if this is supposed to be an emotionally deep movie, I'm we need better setup because I'm not invested in these characters yet.
I'm just curious if Mr. Ridley Scott is is he slipping in his old age?
I don't think he's slipping. I think he's just
No.
trying new things. I mean, besides Gladiator 2 being a sequel, I think he's just trying new stuff and maybe he likes slower stuff. Maybe he is like, I want to do a wars film, but I don't want it to be just war.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. And so perhaps with Napoleon, he did do like 6 major battles that Napoleon did in history,
Yeah.
but the battles on screen only lasted for like 3 to 5 minutes. So there was way more time of him and his wife staring at each other
Mhm.
than there was action sequences or anything of value, I would say. So I don't know. It's an interesting comparison between these two films. Again, we're gonna go see this movie when it actually comes out. 24 years
I
it took to get a sequel to Gladiator, 24 years.
I do think that Joaquin Phoenix does like that, kind of just dramatic, like heavy breathing type. Like you see your sister, heavy breathing in the first Gladiator movie. Joaquin Phoenix likes that kind of acting, but so we'll see once the audience watches the movie and it comes out what the audience score is going to be, but it seems like it's pretty similar to the first one for critic scores. It's a 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10 for the first one as well.
It's darn close to an 8 out of 10. It's real close to an 8 out of 10.
Well, I'm not, when I rank movies, I'm not allowed to give points. I'm not allowed to say 7.
You can't turn.
So the critics aren't allowed to say 7.4 either.
Well, listen, you can't turn a 1 out of 10 into a 1 out of 100, because if you add the point system, then it's a 1 out of 100. Then you might as well just do percentages like Rotten Tomatoes does.
Well, who's got a better? Who's known for making reviews? What's their primary job is to put
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is known for reviews.
So next time I'm allowed to use my point system.
It's not a point system; it's a percentage system.
So they just finished the final episode for The Penguin Show. Season 1, 8 episodes. What'd you think?
Absolutely perfect is what I thought.
I don't know about perfect.
Absolutely perfect. And I really wish that everything could be this good.
If I was going to give it a rating 1 out of 10, it would be 7.9.
Shut up. I think this show really changes things, because previously we've seen this good of characterization, this amount of intrigue with writing a story and presenting it in series format. We've seen it in Game of Thrones, and then it kind of fell apart. That again, we're seeing it with House of the Dragon again, but it's also a timepiece. We haven't really seen it since Sopranos, and then we get something in 2024 that is a series to bridge 2 movies, 2 theatrical Warner Brothers Batman movies, and it's just solely focused on this super fascinating, appreciated Batman villain, right?
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I've heard a lot of the critiques for this show. Like, people don't like it. And no, people love the show. And the reason why they don't like it as much as like a perfect show is because it's in the Batman universe. They say like, oh, these characters would be better if they just created a standalone show. And I'm like, maybe this does feel very like they're trying to do something outside of Batman, but they want to do the crime boss aspect of Gotham, but they don't want to talk about Batman. So they don't give us the Batman thing, but they give us Gotham.
No, I think when people say that, they're just looking for something to complain about. I think it's dumb. Yeah, no, I think that's so stupid to try to say, oh, it's a little bit not as good as it actually is because it's in the Batman universe. That's ridiculous to say. That's ridiculous, because this is making the Batman. This is making the Batman universe better, without a doubt. This is make the interest of the city of Gotham so much better. This is a better villain that we haven't seen characterized on screen since Heath Ledger's Joker. This is truly an incredible series, an incredible performance, an incredibly written show. Like, it's so ridiculous to say because it's in Gotham and the Batman universe, it makes it less good. No, Batman is better for this show, 100%. Go watch it. It's crazy good.
This might be on the fly. You don't have IMDb pulled up for this show at all, do you?
I can pull it up.
So my favorite character throughout the show, Colin Farrell did a good job, but he's not my favorite Penguin in this show. The little boy that played him as a kid is probably my favorite character. Like, the accent that they gave him,
that kid
he killed it with that accent. What's the kid's name? Do you have him on here?
I don't see
Go to
him
all
coming
cast.
up.
Type in.
All right.
Oh,
Let's see. What's the guy's name? Oz Cobb. Do we see another Oz Cobb? Young Oswald. Ryder Allen, bro. This
oh
kid,
yeah, he killed it. He killed it.
Ryder Allen. I don't know if he's from New York. I haven't seen him in anything else. It looks like he was in a
His
film,
his
Palmer, with.
accent was fantastic.
He nailed it, dude.
He nailed it.
He nailed it. My goodness, Ryder Allen has got a bright future in front of him for sure. But yeah, it's getting into just the acting across the board. The acting was amazing. Okay.
It was
I don't
good.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can even get better. Like, I don't think you can get better acting. This show felt like The Sopranos, but faster. It felt like The Sopranos, but with more intrigue. It wasn't as slow, and we were in Gotham, so there was inner city. Like I've always say, Gotham in Batman stories is a character.
Yeah.
Gotham, the city, is a character as much as any other character. So it can't, like, New York on some level, like New York can be a character in a show. And we've seen a lot of stories that do that, where sometimes New York is not so much a character, but more just the setup, right?
Do you I had a question kind of going off of the city. What did you think about the character development specifically? And I
Joshua,
would
I'm
take
giving
it off
this show a 10 out of 10.
Okay, that's ridiculous. You
No,
gotta
it's
find
not.
something that's not perfect about it.
No, it's
That's
not.
ridiculous. I gave it a 7.9, and I was
What
legitimately
in this
upset.
show was bad?
So I want to talk about this. Victor's character specifically, and the character development with Victor. Do you feel like? So I know what they were trying to do with his character. They were saying he at the beginning he was just boosting cars, kind of very timid. He had the stutter, and that's why he could trap. Oz kind of trapped him, and then as the show goes on, the season he gets more confident. Oz kind of helps him, and then at the end, he ends up killing Squid. Is that his name? The
Yep,
guy that
Squid.
was making him boost cars at the beginning, and he built his confidence. But I feel like, and I thought about it because I wanted more with that of like the character development, and it felt like to me it was like this, and it didn't feel like we felt him growing with confidence. It was just like, oh, now he has more confidence because he's around more. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like
No.
almost like a jump. And it's like
There was
okay,
there was one episode where there was a little bit of a time jump where they found the caves and they were going to set up the drug operation, right? The what is it? The Bliss operation. And then there was a time jump of either a few weeks or a couple months, right?
Yeah.
In between episodes. I'm perfectly fine with that time jump because we had to move it along. We can't just we need to see where Oz is going and where he's going to end so that he's positioned on the chessboard for the Batman Part 2 movie that's going to be coming out in 2026.
Clearly
we couldn't just trudge our way through him trying to build up this drug operation and give us as much story as what we got at the end, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought there was a lot of emotional impact when Squid was killed by Victor. And so I felt like there wasn't a big enough jump to where I feel like, oh, now he's super confident, right? It was more so I felt like he was still very timid. And I don't think, besides the natural progression of time, I didn't feel like there was any hiccup there.
Okay. I personally felt, and maybe because I binged the show, I didn't watch it week by week. I binged it, and watched it all kind of in one day. I had a day off from work, and I'm like, let's just put the show on, and I kind of just watched all of it. And I personally felt like there was too much, like it didn't feel gradual. It felt jumpy to me. a little bit. Maybe that was just how I watched
It's
it.
because you binged it, dude.
No, it just I didn't. No, I still just being able to see all the episodes. I still felt, you know, it like jumpy, especially from Victor as a character. I didn't have a problem with um who's some of the other characters that were in it.
Sophia?
Sophia, she felt good. It was just Victor that I felt a little jumpy with.
What about
But
Oswald? Was he
felt good.
served? Was he served? Because he was the main character.
He
Was his development served?
but
And
I didn't feel like he didn't have a strong character development in like building his confidence as the drug lord, because it almost felt like at the beginning when he shot Sophia's brother, whatever his name is, Falcone, he already had that confidence in like, this guy's not gonna laugh at me. So then he shot him, and he's like, I shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't like he already had that in him. So I didn't feel like his character built very much. There wasn't much character development needed for his character. He already had it.
But they developed his character going into the show from the Batman.
Yes.
So he literally had an entire car chase, an entire shootout. They established his position in running the club. Like everything was set up for him to just jump right into here. And also, we're going to tell some backstory with his mom and him, right?
Yes.
So his positioning in Gotham, his position in Gotham, and now that the Falcone is dead from the Batman, and then he has the Falcone legacy to deal with because he was employed under them.
Yeah.
That's where we enter the story. And I feel like with that knowledge of what the first movie set up, I don't feel like it skips a beat. I'm just saying, look, I know it's and this is kind of something I've been considering is, could I ever give a show a 10 out of 10 without enough building, as you're saying, without enough development, as you're saying? And I'm saying, like, I think this might be a new correct trend that Warner Brothers could build on with other franchises, where if they're doing it with Dune right now, all right? Yeah. They have some Warner Brothers movies or just movie, and either they do a show that helps bridge the movies and build out a character, or they build out the universe. So like Dune, I don't know how much Denis Villeneuve is involved with the Dune Prophecy show that's about to drop.
Yeah.
But I know Matt Reeves was an executive producer on The Penguin, who is the creator and director of The Batman. So Matt Reeves is totally greenlighting everything in this show for this character, for his movies. I think that's smart, and I think it allows for getting more 10 out of 10 shows, because if it didn't have the movies, I might put this at a 9 or an 8. But with the addition of the movie, and hopefully the next movie's really awesome because of this show, I think it really builds its score in my mind. And maybe that is a trend that can be followed. Movies plus series in universe.
Yeah, I definitely think this was strong.
And not like Marvel and Star Wars, so, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get another season of a In Gotham show. I don't think we'll get another Penguin show. I don't think we'll get season 2 of the Penguin. We are going to get. So I almost feel like, and this might be wrong, I'm just kind of throwing something out there as kind of a creative idea. You set up I don't know if movie will set up show or show will set up movie, maybe, but we're going to be getting Batman Part 2 next. That's going to set us up for some kind of bad guy, maybe the Joker, and then maybe we'll get a Joker season.
No, then I think they've already said the Joker will be the villain in the third Batman movie.
I'm just saying, like, we'll get movie, that will bring the next character and will give character development for that season, and then movie character type thing. So I think we're going to jump around with more characters and then create a season based off what they give us in the movie. And yeah, I don't know if it will be the joke. Not the Joker next. It'll probably be the third movie that the Joker's in, but maybe like we talked about. I think we did. Did we do a live stream talking about this already? It might be the Riddler. Maybe. I mean,
Well,
not the Riddler. Not the Riddler. Scarecrow.
Yeah, we did a
Scarecrow
podcast that's coming out this Friday.
It might be Scarecrow that is next, and maybe they'll make a show about that. That'll be fun.
I don't know. I think that's a lot of speculation. Maybe. It's very possible. I think this is fascinating. If you haven't watched The Penguin, you're really missing out, because this show is definitely, I think it's way better than House of the Dragon season 2. So I think it's the best thing all year.
It's different.
Unless Dune Prophecy is so incredibly good that it overshadows this.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of Dune. It's very possible it could overshadow it if it's really good. But I think this is probably, for me, and I think for a lot of people, the best show of the year. Yeah. And I've seen a majority of the shows. Like, obviously, like what's the trash we've gotten this year? We've gotten The Acolyte from Disney Plus. we got freaking Rings of Power season 2
from all the way.
Prime, Agatha All Along from Disney. Ugh. These are complete duds. Now, we did get House of the Dragon season 2 this year, but it wasn't as good as the first season.
It was good.
It was okay. I had some qualms. I feel like nothing big happened. There was one battle that felt consequential, but nothing like huge happened. It felt like we were just still setting up for something big, you know? And we felt like the whole first season was doing a lot of setup. So I think that it's definitely on track to be really good. I don't like that they blue balled us for a few more years, or a year, however long it's going to take to do season 3. I don't like that. The Penguin was satisfying.
What other shows did they come out with? Did HBO come out with this year?
Let me take a look,
because I'm just curious. HBO is doing a decent job when it comes to coming out with content compared to everybody else. I mean, even things like Netflix. We don't have like we're expecting next year Stranger Things, which is going to be big, but like this year felt very slow for even Netflix.
Yeah. So they're just showing like a lot of House of the Dragon stuff.
There was a lot of swing and miss for Disney, but nothing hit. And then Amazon had some swings that were, maybe foul balls. They hit it, but maybe they weren't great. But HBO's been doing some. They always swing and pretty much at least get a single. Maybe not a double, but they'll get a single.
They swing and they hit something. They're not making complete garbage. Whereas Disney, I feel like this year just made garbage. I don't know. Maybe with the exception of Inside Out 2, I feel like Disney this whole year was just complete trash. And we'll see if Moana 2 is any good. But if you check out our video we did a couple weeks ago, I don't have a whole lot of hopes for Moana 2, because it was written to be a series, and then they makeshifted it into a movie, a sequel, which I don't think you can just morph it into something like that. I think it's going to fall short. It'll make money. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. And Amazon Prime, the biggest thing this year was Rings of Power, and I've done countless videos on how garbage I believe that show is.
The one with Bobby Lee. No, not Bobby Lee. The game one that we did a review for. Wyatt did some reviews on it.
Squid
Game?
Video
game? No, the video game one.
You got to be more specific, man.
I'm not. I can't think of it. I can't think of
video game one.
Yeah.
Who made it? Which studio? Which
Amazon.
streamer?
Amazon.
Amazon did a video game show.
Fallout.
Oh, Fallout.
Fallout. That
I
was
mean,
this year,
people
wasn't it?
liked it, but I don't think people were raving about it. Even the gamers weren't like thrilled.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Wyatt talked about it a lot.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think actually in the comments this time. Whether you watch The Penguin, whether you are looking forward to a movie to watch in theaters for Game of Thrones, or do you think they should just leave it alone? Let us know. Also, Gladiator 2, are you hyped?
Oh,
Or are you not hyped? That's a big question. Is Gladiator 2 going to bring you to the theater, or are you just going to wait for it to come out in streaming? I'm really curious. I think if you're a dad, you have to go watch Gladiator 2, right?
Oh, is that it? If you're dad?
It's a dad
Well,
show.
I guess
All the
I'm not gonna
dads.
go watch it because I'm not a dad.
I'm a dad. And I watched Gladiator 1, maybe back in like 2008, maybe 8, maybe 2008. I don't know. I was younger then.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us on the live. We'll see you guys next time. Really appreciate it. Stay loose, I guess.
You.